Hello? Welcome to the Tier 10 Tech Tree tier list, where I'm going to go through my subjective opinion on what I think about each different vehicle. It's not going to be taken into account about the grind to get there, it's more just about the actual tank itself. And obviously, as this is subjective, it might be wildly different from what you would rank the vehicle. And as always, if you want to watch this content live, you can go over to my Twitch, link will be in the description or in the pinned comment. An S tier vehicle is something I feel is just excellent. It is an amazing tank. It might even be OP in some regard, but it's also just a comfy vehicle to play as well. Doesn't necessarily need to be the best of the best, but for me personally, when I play it, I really enjoy playing it. A tier vehicle, very, very good. Not quite S tier, but a good tank, and I would happily go and grind it and play it as well. B is just mid. Like, B is just a very, very mid tank. It doesn't really do anything for me, but it's also not a bad tank either. C tier is quite bad. It wouldn't necessarily go into the bottom of the bottom. It's just a bit bad. And then D tier is completely useless. I don't know why anyone would grind it, and I don't know why anyone would play it. That's D tier. We will do this by nation once more, because otherwise there's 68 chapters in the video. Well, actually 63, because I excluded artillery. This will also include collector's vehicles, just because there's only a few of them in there, and you do get them from grinding the tech tree, so it kind of makes sense. I might as well just throw them in. Starting out with Germany, we have the mouse. I think a mouse, A tier. I don't necessarily think it's S tier for me, but for some people it might be. Other people will put it in like C or D because they don't know how to angle. But if you learn how to angle, and I am not saying that I know how to angle, but if you learn how to angle it, you can just block everything. Even a Jagdpanzer 100 fire in heat can bounce. Yes, it has the dodgy thing on the turret, and yes, you will get penned there now and again. On the whole, good vehicle. I think this is a very, very good tank. And I also like this style of vehicle where it rewards you for knowing more about the tank. The more that you know about the mouse, the better you'll become. E100. We put it in A. I don't think I put it in S tier. I think I put it in A. I do rate the E100 higher than the mouse now, purely because it's such an idiot-proof vehicle. With the buff, I don't know why they buffed the turret face, but now if you have like 310 APCR, good luck. You just bounce. You have a premium round, which is flat out useless against this. If you have 340 heat or something like that, you might be able to pen it. But even then, if you're slightly below the tank, you don't pen it. And it doesn't reward people for actually angling anymore. Because beforehand, you used to need to angle to actually block damage. Now you can just look at someone and it just... good luck. So yeah, I think it's a bit idiot proof, and I don't know why they buffed it, but it is what it is. I think the E100 is better than the mouse now. Not to mention you have two guns to use as well. You have like VKK at home, and then you have the nice 530 alpha or 560 alpha, whatever it is. I think the small gun is better than the big gun majority of the time, but the big gun is a lot more fun. The Jagdpanzer E100 S tier vehicle. The Jag. We love the Jag. Okay, anybody who besmirches the Jag, bad person. No one is allowed. Do not be mean to Mr. Jag. You can angle at 45 degrees and you just watch people cry because they can't pen you. And a lot of people do not understand this. If you know how to angle with a Jagdpanzer 100, you can block many, many things. And not to mention you have 420 heat. So not only do you bounce stuff, you then just turn around it and look at them, and then bang, straight through their turret face. Good luck. Even IS-7, doesn't care. The E50M, A tier. Not quite S tier for me, but I like it. It doesn't... What's the right way of putting this? It just doesn't do anything that is... I guess the ramming capability, yes. Like, that makes it more characterful, but it's kind of very, very safe. Yes, you can ram stuff, but other than that, it's just a very safe medium tank. And it's probably one of the best medium tanks you can grind if you actually want to get a good medium line as well. Because you get the E50 before it, which is basically the same thing, but just a little bit worse, especially after the buff now. So yeah, E50M, good tank, A tier. Leo 1, S tier vehicle. We love the Leo. Good gun on any vehicle, you're probably going to end up in S tier, as long as the platform is also good. It doesn't matter that it doesn't have armor, because the gun is just amazing. It is one of the best guns in the game. It's better than most TD guns, actually. I do rate this higher than an E50M, purely because of the gun. But the E50M gun is really good. Really, really good. But it's not a Leo 1 gun. And if you fire full APCR premium with the Leo 1, it's even better. You have like 1,800 shell velocity if you use perfect charge as well, which is just stupidly good. The Grilla 15. Listen, it's not going in D, but it will be C. I have had a very, very up and down relationship with the Grilla 15. And the problem is, you can't fix this gun. Even sometimes when it does work, you're then quickly reminded that it can just flick a switch and it doesn't work because it just goes, no, I don't want to hit that. Even at point blank range, it just misses and it doesn't make sense. Way too much bloom, way too inaccurate, but even though it's the most accurate gun in the game against most other tanks. Like, yes, the STRV is slightly better and the Type 71 is slightly better, but on an actual platform where it doesn't have a gimmick, this is the most accurate tank in the game, along with the Vickers 3, I believe. Yes, it's exactly the same as the Vickers. This is the most accurate tank in the game without any mechanic or gimmick or anything like that. So you don't have to go into siege mode, you don't have to go into the cooldown mode. This is the most accurate tank in the game by default, but it also just isn't. It's the most accurate, inaccurate tank. Or most inaccurate, accurate tank. That's the wrong. The Panzer 7A, this is just a good tank. I don't see any issues with this. Like, the gun is one of the best guns that you can get on a heavy tank. The armor is balanced. Once you learn about the weak spots, you can then work around them to try and hide them. And you can bait the lower plate very, very well. So I think all round, this is a really, really solid tank. Yeah, I don't feel like you can go wrong with this. The Rheinmetall Panzerwagen. I'm thinking A tier. Purely for the fact that it can go and damage deal when it needs to. When it needs to, it can do damage. And I think that's a very, very key part, especially in nowadays World of Tanks, where the maps are letting you down for being a light tank. When you need to go and just brawl and be doing damage, you can with the RHM. And yes, it's not very good at scouting in comparison to other light tanks. Right? In comparison to like a Manticore, it's useless at scouting. But in comparison to a lot of other tanks, it's fine. It doesn't have the camo, realistically, but it has the gun, the combat capacity, and it can scout when it needs to scout. I think A tier, that's fine. Moving on to the Soviet tech tree, the IS-4. I think this is A. I wouldn't quite put it in S tier, but I think it's A tier. Yeah, I think this belongs in A tier. After doing more research and looking up, like, it's still quite slow across medium and soft. In comparison to like E100, I rate them the same. Like, they're just a really, really good tank in general. The IS-7, I think it goes A. I think the IS-7 also goes in A. The only reason... the thing is, the IS-7 can actually do quite a lot, but I wouldn't rate it any higher than these in regards to what it can do. That's for me, personally. I know already Ioxin is going to message me after this that the Guerrilla's in C, the IS-7's in A, and we're going to have a lovely conversation about why they should be, like, up here. But it's fine. The 268. This is actually S tier now. I actually think the 268 is an S tier TD now. I really enjoy this. I don't play it enough, but I really enjoy every single time I play it. Even in Onslaught. In Onslaught it's great. In Randoms it's great. The 268 is lovely. It's really, really nice to play. If you haven't played it since it got buffed a good few patches ago now, you should. The T62A. Yeah. Can they buff it, please? It's basically a 140, pretty much the same tank. Is it really? The T62A has been forgotten about. It has been left behind, so far behind, especially now the 140 has received so many buffs. Just no, like, this thing needs to be buffed. Either to 340 Alpha. In fact, you could just buff it to 340 Alpha and it'd be fine. The T100LT, this again goes in the same category as the RHM because it's very similar in a way, but it has more scoutability than the RHM. As a light tank, T100LT is better. As a damage dealer, I think the RHM is better. Combat capacity, RHM. Light tank wise, T100. Very, very similar in kind of playstyles as well. The 430U. This is just mid. This is the first mid-tier vehicle. The gun is infuriating. The armor is really, really good, but the gun lets it down. I wish the gun would get buffed, but then again, if you buff the gun, the tank would just be OP. So, like, I don't know. I don't know how you balance the 430U. I guess nerf the armor, but then again, you nerf the armor, you then nerf, like, the biggest asset of the vehicle. So it's like, I don't know. 268V4. Again, this is just a bit C tier now. It's not super, super fast anymore, but it's not slow either. And it's still fine to play, but it's not in A. I don't think it's not bad enough to be in C. It's just a B tier vehicle. It's very mid. Object 705A, I think this goes into B? This is lacking pen a little bit, if I remember correctly, right? This only has like 317? 317. Although you do get good HE runs. So yeah, this belongs in B. The pen isn't fantastic anymore for nowadays World of Tanks, which is really sad to say, but yep, that's how it is. However, it is incredibly good at side scraping. The only reason why the IS-7 is above it is purely because the IS-7 has mobility. This doesn't really have mobility on its side. You can do more in an IS-7 than you could do in a 705A. The K91. I don't like this tank. This is my subjective list. I don't like it. I'm sorry, I know there are people out there that really enjoy the K91. I am not one of them. I do not enjoy this gun. The gun feels derpy. It's the most accurate out of all the tanks, and it just feels derpy. It's like a Gorilla 15. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, no, I don't rate it. I don't rate it very highly, okay? Yes, you have good camo. Yes, you can... I mean, you're meant to be able to snipe with it, but again, we've spoken about the gun. I just don't rate it. The Object 277. This goes up in A along with the IS-7. I think that these are both very, very similar. Now the IS-7's got a pen buff. It's not excellent, but it's more in line with the 277. But the IS-7 is a lot more forgiving than the 277. So it kind of balances it out a little bit more. But the IS-7 has a tier 11. At least at the time of me making this video, the 277 doesn't have a tier 11. There's that as well to take into consideration. But yeah, 340 heat, good standard pen, good turret as well, fast. I like it. The ST2, mid, just a mid-tier vehicle. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. We move on to the USA, the T110E5. I really love this tank, but I don't know if I put it in S tier because I really do enjoy it. No, I would. There are some times where the armor can let you down. This is the only reason why I was debating not putting it in A tier, is because you can't really side scrape against certain people. And you also then have the cupola, but honestly, that's more of a skill issue that I can't defend the cupola. So, but the gun is amazing. So good. Probably the best gun at tier 10 for a heavy tank. Even more so than the Panzer 7. This is just really good. And it's one of my favorite guns to use if I just want to do some damage. The only issue is that it takes a lot of skill to actually get a lot out of it. The better you are at the game, the more that you will do. And so it's kind of a bit hard to play at times. The gun is S tier. The tank is S tier. It goes there. The E4. It got buffed though. I think it's mid. It did get buffed. I forgot that it got buffed, so it went up a little bit. I think this is B, purely for the fact that it's not well armored for what you would expect. It's not like you have an E3 cupola where it's impenetrable. And I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, but in comparison to other tanks, you get penned all over the place, and you're meant to be an assault TD. I think that if the rest of the tank was really well armored and you still had the cupola, it'd be fine, but it's not. If they load premium, they can go through pretty much everywhere on your vehicle, even if you just head on. Although, I will say, if you face hug one of these, it is one of the worst experiences you can ever have because it has a massive mantlet and the actual upper plate of it, the upper hull armor, is not getting penned. So you just cry. And if you're face hugging an E4, good luck. The E3. The E3 goes... yeah, into A tier. It's better than the E4. It's better than these. You can go hold down. You have big pen, the same as the E4. We have 375 APCR. You don't really care about the majority of tanks that you meet, if you're honest. You can go hold down and just sit there and just go, good luck. This is the E3 gameplay. Oh, I'm reloaded. Shoot. Reloaded. Shoot. That's E3 gameplay. That is, you sit there. If you're on Himmelsdorf and you can get into a window, good luck. They can't even pen your lower plate properly because the E3 lower plate is incredibly troll. Armor flashlight helped out a bit, but even then, if you aim at the E3 lower plate and you think, aha, it's green, and it goes bounced. The E3 is incredibly troll. The M48 pattern. This goes in A tier. I don't think it's quite S tier because the gun is sometimes letting it down. The problem with the pattern is that on paper, this looks fantastic. But when you actually get it in game, the gun doesn't work. You can just be like point blank and it just misses. Everything else about it is fine. The turret is paper when heat is coming. Yeah, but this is the thing. You don't play this as an assault medium. You play this as more of a go anywhere style medium tank. You don't rely on the armor ever. If you're relying on the armor on the pattern, you're doing it wrong. It doesn't have armor. It acts like it doesn't have armor and you will play better. Also, the dispersion values for the bloom are one of the best in the game. So you never ever need stab and you can just have fun with it. It's good. It's good. I like it. The T57 Heavy. S tier vehicle. Absolutely S tier vehicle. It even got buffed. It got higher ammo count. So now the only real issue with the tank is gone. Like, this vehicle slaps. You have 340 heat. You have decent enough standard pen that if you need to use it, you can. Like if you're going through the side of a tank, etc. Yeah, you quickly, very quickly in fact, do a lot of damage, retreat, reload fast, which is the key feature, and then you do it all again. You never ever rely on the armor, because that's just stupid. You get bounces now and again, but you don't rely on it. You just deal your damage, you go back, you deal damage again. Rinse and repeat style of tank. The Sheridan. Sheridan's B tier. Now, the Sheridan did get a buff with the gun, but I'm just not a massive fan of those style of guns, like with the derp gun. I know it got buffed, it got heat rounds that are quite good now, but I'm just not a massive fan of it. However, I do think that it stays in B. The thing is, it's not a great scout. It's kind of like the RHM in a way. And I know that you could use the smaller gun and you're acting more like an RHM, but I don't think it's as good as the RHM. If I was going to play a light tank in randoms, I'd want to play the RHM over the Sheridan. They're both big, but the Sheridan feels even bigger. And then the M5Y, I'm not being funny, I'd put the M5Y in C. I do not rate this tank very highly at all. The thing is, you have to be hold down. And even if you're hold down, you can still get penned. But if you go out in the open or you try and size rip, you can't do that. The hull armor is so incredibly useless that you cannot play without going hold down. And on certain maps, that's not possible. The gun is good. Both guns, I think, is really good. But the rest of the platform that it's on is just not. And I don't like it. Ah, the French. The bat chat. A. Gun is derpy, but the things that you can do with the bat chat, scouting-wise, and just being annoying-wise, A tier. Absolutely A tier vehicle. The gun is better than it used to be, but it's still quite bad in some circumstances. Especially if you fire in heat, where it's got low shell velocity as well. This can be a horrible experience, but it's still A tier. The AMX-50B, A. I feel like it's a beautiful tank. It's an absolutely beautiful tank, but I don't think I would rather play it than a T-57 Heavy. Or would I? I'm just thinking back to when I played it last. I actually think I would. Every single time I've played this, I've said that it's a comfy tank. Yeah. I think I would. The gun is better than the T-57 Heavy. The gun is better than the T-57 Heavy gun. It doesn't deal with the same kind of ambush impact kind of gameplay that the T-57 does, but the ability to get around the map, you don't have any armor, but that's not the point of this tank. You don't have any armor, but you play as an ambush style tank and you just appear around the map as and when you need to. And so, yeah. I rate this S tier. I'm sorry for putting you in A initially. Please forgive me, Mr. 50B. The MX-30B. Oh, yes. Yeah, I mean, yeah. The thing is, this vehicle, I don't think is completely horrible, but it is in comparison to the rest of the tanks. And the problem is with this vehicle is that it wouldn't take much to actually buff it to a state where it's quite nice to play. You gave it a pen buff, and what's the shell velocity like on the 30B? 1,100, that's not good, and 800. You give it a pen buff and a shell velocity buff, and maybe like a little bit of accuracy, leave everything else the same, I think that's a good vehicle. But as it is now, it stays in D. As it is now, that's not a good tank, so it is D. But why would you play it over Leo 1? Just have something different. It has character. Like, look, chat, I like tanks that have character and have a good gun. And I think that the 30B has character. And if it had a good gun, it would be a lot higher up. I don't think it would be quite S tier, but I think that it would be A. The M454. This is still a good tank, but I don't feel like it's S tier or A tier tank. I feel like this is just a very, very balanced, middle-of-the-road tank now. It's not bad by any means. But I wouldn't rate it as good either. I marked this a good few months back now, and it was fine. I enjoyed the play. I enjoyed the gameplay of it. It's an alright tank. It's not bad, but it's not good either. I feel like they've actually balanced this really well now. It does still have quite limited health though. Yeah, it does still have 2,200 health, which is the same as like a Chieftain or an FE 4201. I do feel like it needs more health, but apart from that, it's solid B tier. The 13105. This is going in B purely for the fact the bat chat exists. The bat chat exists. Therefore, this tank is pretty irrelevant because the bat can do like 95% of what the 13105 can do. Yes, it has the camo on the move in comparison to the bat chat, but that's really the only thing that it gains over the bat chat. The bat can do more damage per clip, has better ambush potential, is basically going nearly the same speed as the 13105, and has roughly the same camo when it's stationary. Why would I play the 13105? It's not saying that this tank is bad, but a bat chat is better as an all-round light tank and damage dealing combo. 3105 has character. I would argue the bat chat has more character than the 3105. The Foch B, yeah, this is straight S tier vehicle. This is not S tier because it's like, oh, so good, so good, so good. It's S tier character. We've spoken about character. There's no other vehicle really quite like this. The things that this tank can do is insane. Like the fact that I can just go and clip fully a tank and it's just gone. Yeah, sure, the Phoenix can do that, or WT100, but they're a lot rarer. And you'd need to pay like 100k gold for it. So yeah, Foch B, characterful tank. It actually has character, I like that. The EBR 105. I mean, why does this thing still exist in the state that it is? The EBR 105 is the most overpowered light tank in the entire tech trees, of any tech tree. It is absolutely just OP. If there was a higher one than S, it will go in there. No, I don't even necessarily enjoy playing this tank that much. However, it's so broken that you can't really put it anywhere else because it doesn't do anything wrong. It has a great gun. It has the amazing top speed, amazing camo. It's a light tank. It's a damage dealer. It just does everything. The only reason why I don't like it is because it's so broken in comparison. It's just unbelievable, like how good this thing is. So yeah. S-tier vehicle. It's hard to play though. It's not as hard to play as you might think. I think that a lot of people make the mistake with the EBR 105 that they have to be aggressive. They have to be doing this, that, and the other. They don't. You can happily sit in a bush because you can get to many, many bushes that other people can't get to and just sit there and just scout. You don't have to be moving all the time in the EBR. You can sit there and scout and it's absolutely fine and it's completely broken. The Centurion Action 10. Yep. Yeah, this is a straight S-tier tank. This is one of the best all-round medium tanks in the game. I think it's better than the Patton. The gun is better. The armor is slightly better. Not by much, okay? People say that the Centurion Action 10 has loads of armor. It does to a certain degree, but you'll still get penned a lot of the time. It's not like you're going to suddenly become invulnerable when you're hull down, but it is very, very good. Good enough top speed, good enough mobility. Yeah, there's not really too much to not like about this tank, to be honest. The FV4005. Straight into D. I hate this thing, right? I hate this thing purely because I don't like it being in the game. Like, I hate the gun. I hate how derpy the gun is. It has character. Yeah, it has character. It has a character in which I hate. It's not a characterful tank which I think, oh, that's nice. It's like a character where I think, I hate you. I am still a massive proponent for removing the HESH rounds from this tank. You could leave the AP rounds and give it like, I don't know, 400 AP on the premium round or something with the same alpha and just leave it. That would still be funny, but not 1,750 funny, right? That's just toxic for the game and I hate that. I really just don't like this. The S-Conk. S-Conk is still a solid tank, to be honest. But I think that it's more like a B. I do still like the gun, though. I'd rate it higher than the M454 and these, actually. Yeah, I'd still rate it in A. Like, this is more the lower level A. So I feel like the S-Conk just sits here because the gun is still really, really nice. The Badger. Ever since the Tortoise got nerfed, I honestly think this is like an S-tier tank now. I actually do. I do feel that this is an S-tier vehicle. This thing just shreds people. And you can sit there fully hold down. They can't pen you. Unless it's like a Jagdpanzer 100 shooting you. They're not penning it. It's kind of insane, actually. And more, even against tier 11s, this thing is good. It's kind of hard to not like this. Gun is amazing. Gun is accurate enough. Good DPM, good alpha. Yeah. I like this. I like this quite a lot. The Concept 5. I'm going to put this in A because the gun is really good. I don't know why I would play it though over a Leo 1. I think this is a good tank, but I don't see the point of me playing it over a Leo 1 because the platform it's on is not good. It's still not good. The gun is good, but the platform is not. And that is why I'd rather play the Leo 1 over the Concept 5 on most days. And it sounds like a lawnmower. The Can Opener. I don't know where I'd put it. No, it's not S tier. It's not S tier. The thing is, right, if this was an objective list, it would be S tier, yeah? Like, this is the most OP thing in the game. It was like, it's so broken. Unbelievably broken. But I just don't enjoy playing it. It's boring. I'm putting it in B. I'd rather play any of these than the Can Opener. I actually would. Objectively speaking, this thing's armor, you can side scrape. You can go hold down. You don't get penned, okay? All you need to do is just hide your lower plate and the little plate in the middle. Good luck. No one's going to pen you. Not even Jagdpanzer 100. I just get bored playing it. I just get bored playing this vehicle. It lacks character because it's literally a cardboard box. Not quite because it has many armor, but it's basically just a box and that's it. Not in a good way. I'd rather play an E4 than a Can Opener, to be honest. Manticore. Straight A. It's not S tier because I'm not good enough in light tanks. I'm not good enough in light tanks to put it S tier. And also, it's not, how do I put this? It's not a tank that you can play on every map. This isn't a tank that you can put in every single map. The EBR, you can play whatever map you get on. This, if you need to do damage and actually have a combat capable tank, this isn't it. Yes, you can do damage in it. You can have good games and high damage games, but nowhere near what you would in an EBR, an RHM, a T100, or even a Sheridan. But if you were scouting, if you get on Prokhorovka, whew, S-tier tank. But it's not as flexible as the other light tanks. This puts all its eggs into the scouting basket. And it might like have maybe one egg left over where it's like, you can have a gun as well. Just off to the side, just you can shoot now and again. Even with the buff that gave it more shells, it still doesn't feel fantastic. So I think that we put it in A. It's not quite S tier like the EBR. Not to mention, also, you rely on your team a lot. With the RHM, the T100, and the EBR 105, you can kind of get away without relying on your team because you can go and do damage. Not so much in this. Moving on to China, the 121. This is just mid. It's just a mid tank. Gun depression lets it down a little bit, but the gun is really, really good. Doesn't have loads and loads of armor. Solid tank. It's just a mid tank. The 113. Same kind of story. This is a collector's vehicle, which you can get once you reach tier 10 on the nation, but it's not great. I still think this is better than a 430U, maybe, because it plays the role of a heavy tank, but it's not great. Like, it's not like a fantastic vehicle. The WZ1321. Even after the buffs, I do not rate this vehicle. I don't understand who is playing this tank. It's just not good. Why would I play this over any other light tank? Okay, you might say, Max, you like character. This has lots of character. Character. But it doesn't. It has character in the way that I'm like a disappointed parent. That's the kind of character that I have from this. I just don't enjoy it. The WZ1115A, B. I don't rate this tank higher than a 277 and IS-7. Lots of people do. Lots of people think that it's better, and that's fine, but I don't rate it higher than them. I'm just not a massive fan of this tank in comparison to playing a 277. Yes, you get more gun depression, but you have big cupola in comparison to like the IS-7 and the 277. I feel like this is fair. It's not bad by any means, but I don't rate it higher than the 277 or even the same tier. The WZ11111, the WZ113GFT, that's the one. We start out at A? I like this, but I don't know whether or not I put it in S. I don't know if I like it more than a 268. I don't think I do. Because, like, this vehicle, you can kind of brawl with it, but then at the same time, you kind of can't. It's a lot bigger of a target. I think it stays in A. It's just good, but I think I'd rather play a 268. After playing, like, both of them quite a bit, I think I'd rather play the 268 than the WZ. The BZ75, C tier. Straight C tier. The gun on this vehicle drives me insane. I despise this gun. This gun, it doesn't matter what you put on it, it will still troll you. It has rockets, great, but you go slow after the rockets. And it has 3 cupolas. I didn't mind this. I think about a year or two ago, I wasn't minding this tank. But over time, this gun has annoyed me more and more. And it's actually dropped down quite a bit because it just doesn't feel good to play. It's okay when in certain situations, and yes, you can have good games with it. By far, you can have very good games with it. But the gun is just so infuriating to play with. It just misses. And the hull armor is incredibly troll, yes. But it doesn't make up for the fact that you have 3 cupolas on top of the tank. And yeah, it just goes in C. It's the same kind of story as like a Guerrilla 15 where it's a bit like a love-hate relationship sometimes with this vehicle, but more so just annoying situation, actually. And not to mention the BZ79 that leads on from that. I don't know what's happened, but the gun works. It's just so much better than the BZ75. It's actually made the BZ75 worse because of how much better the tier 11 is. Moving on to Japan, we have the STB1, A tier vehicle. I don't love it, but it's all right. I think that's fair for the STB1. The only thing why it's not an S tier vehicle for me is you can ignore the armor. Ignore the armor entirely, actually, on this tank. Anyone that tells you this tank has armor is lying. It doesn't have armor. The whole idea of why this tank works in a hold down is because it's very, very small. You peek up, you expose very little of your tank, and then you shoot. That's the whole idea of it. Most of the time, they're going to fire heat at you, and it will pen. It will pen the STB1. But you can then have much more DPM than the enemy person that's shooting you. And also, you kind of have a nice gun at close range. At distance, this gun does start falling apart, but it's nice. And even with siege mode, which I really, really don't like, it's still okay. It annoys me a lot of the time, but because it's quite fast in siege mode, like to actually activate it, the top speed-wise, where the siege mode activates, I feel it's okay. The Type 5 Heavy. Yeah, they buffed this a little bit too much. I mean, I still don't understand why they buffed it. I genuinely think they gave in to the community and just buffed it because the community was saying, oh, it's so underpowered, this, that, and the other, and then they just buffed it. But now they've buffed it to a state where it's turned from buff Type 5 heavy to now nerf Type 5 heavy. The problem is, and I said this even before, you cannot buff the armor of this tank because it's OP otherwise. And I said this before it was buffed. If you buff the armor of a Type 5, it turns into something where the vast majority of tanks just can't pen it. And yes, it has a cupola which is 200 millimeters thick, but it's very, very small to actually hit that. And if it goes a little bit right, a little bit left, a little bit up, a little bit down, you then don't pen it. And it's just so toxic to try and deal with. This at the moment is just straight S tier. It's so OP in comparison to everything else. It has tier 11 mark requirements, which I think shows you enough. A tech tree tank having tier 11 mark requirements and people are playing it, both playing it really, really well and really, really bad. That shows you how good the tank actually is. The Hori 3. This is an A tier tank. I like this. I actually like this quite a lot, even after the nerfs. I like this. It has funny 360 AP on the premium round, which is lovely to use. It's more than mobile enough, gets around the map, does the damage, retreats, accurate enough. I like it. I'd rather play it than the majority of the other tanks. I wouldn't rate it S tier because it does lack character in some areas. And I think that this would be high A tier as well if I could rework them. But it's a really lovely tank to play with. The Type 71. C, I guess, because at least it has DPM, but I don't rate it any higher than this. This just feels horrible. This is just a bad STB1. And I'm not being funny, like, yes, it has armor in comparison to the STB1, but that doesn't save it. The gun is annoying, and I don't like it. It has a hull armor which has a cupola on it. It doesn't make sense. I can still get penned because there's Commander just sticking up going, hello, how would you like to play the game? I'm still here, and then he just dies every game. So, yeah, just C. The TVP T5051, B. I don't think there's anything else really to say. This isn't horrible, but the bat chat's better. I would rather play a bat chat in the vast majority of the maps and battles than the TVP. I don't know how they would buff this. I don't even think it needs a buff necessarily. I feel like the bat chat needs a nerf in some ways to like the camo so that it's not as good for scouting, and then the TVP would be more in line because then that would bring up the AMX 13105 as well. As it is now, the TVP is excellent as an ambush style tank and it can do a lot of damage, but it lacks pen. It kind of lacks the alpha in certain ways as well, but I wouldn't change that. But it's still a good tank, and I still think that, yeah, it stays in B. The VZ55. I'm sorry, even after the buff to this thing, I still don't like it. I don't think I'm ever going to like the VZ55. And like, this is just me because I just don't like this tank. If you play the double shot, it's useless. If you play the single shot, it's actually okay. But even then, it just lacks character. The double shot had character. And if the double shot was good, I'd probably rate it into like A. But it's just not there. It just feels boring. And yes, you have 530 alpha now, so it's probably like in line with the 277 in a competitive aspect regarding like objectivity. But I just don't like it. The Tessac. This is kind of the same story where it can be good, but at the same time, I don't know why you would play this tank over other light tanks. I feel like I would rather play it more than the WZ, 100%. It has the funny gun and that's it. And if you like that, then that's great. Because you can do some stuff with this vehicle where you can like clip heavy tanks, etc. if you get around behind them and stuff like that. And it can be very funny. But for me personally, I don't enjoy it. Moving on to Poland. The 60 TP. 60 TP is still an A tier tank. Even after the nerfs, this thing is still an A tier vehicle. This is fine. I don't know why people stop playing tanks as soon as they get nerfed and they instantly think that everything is terrible about it. But a 60 TP is great. It's still a great tank. You have good alpha. You have good enough gun, like regarding stabilization, etc. You put stab on it, it's absolutely fine. You go fast enough. Armor is decent. Armor is actually incredibly troll, especially with the lower plate. I don't know. I don't see any hate really for this tank. It's just a solid all-round tank and definitely higher than B. The CS63, just welcome to see. This thing is just, oh my god. I hate this tank, but I wouldn't put it in D because it's still playable. And I know I keep coming back to this, but why is it a sniper medium? Why? Who designated this tank and went, we've moved up to tier 10. You know, all the rest of them have been versatile medium tanks because they've been fast, they can get into position, they can get around the map. This one is even faster, it can get into position, move around the map, so therefore, we're going to designate it a sniper. What? What do you mean? Why is it a sniper? For some reason, this gets matched up against a Leo 1 in-game. It's the same tank, obviously. Clearly, it's the same vehicle. Yeah, well, if you want to have a full rant about that, you can either watch the Tech Tree Showcase or any other video I've done on the Series 63, to be honest. The Blitzker. Yeah, this is solid. It's a little bit difficult to play, but you can do a lot of damage with this vehicle. And the problem is that people just don't play it right. And I see you sniping on Sand River in your base with the Blitzker. Stop doing that. This is exactly the same as like the Grom and other tanks. Please stop sniping with the Polish TD line. It is not going to do damage at distance. You are meant to be up close personal, HP turbo rammer, and just go and deal a load of damage. But don't play ultra aggressive. A lot of people go in, do one shot of damage, and then just explode because they don't understand it. You're meant to just do one shot, back off, conserve your hit points, trade effectively, and you'll do a lot of damage to people. You actually have very, very good armor as well. If you can use some gun depression, it's even better. Just play like that, and it's a fantastic tank. Sweden, the Kran. The Kran got buffed, and it now has better pen. And I do think that it's still a decent tank. A lot of people hate the Kran, but I do feel like it's an okay vehicle. It sits in B for me. It's not really, really broken like it used to be. It's still incredibly frustrating to play against once you do get in a hold down situation, but I'd rather play it than any of these. The STRV 103B, I would rate this in A. This is not really my style of tank, and for some people they would rate it S tier. I am not a triangle enjoyer that much, okay? He says with a Jagdpanzer, but that's more of a heavy tank than anything else. But it's still a good tank, and you can play aggressively with it, which is why it's quite high up. When you do play with this tank, it can get set on fire quite a bit, and you need experimental hardening to really make this work. And even then, it can still get set on fire and stuff like that, so just be aware of that. But it is a good vehicle, and that's why it's on A tier. The UDES. Listen, I'm aware what I'm about to do is going to start a lot of arguments in chat, both in my Twitch chat and also in YouTube chat, but I do not like this tank. It's going in C. I like good guns. This is not a good gun. I hate the gun on this tank. It can scout. It can do a lot of stuff. But the fact that the shell velocity is ridiculously slow for the APCR round. It's like 1,000 shell velocity on the APCR standard round. Why? Not only that, but the heat round is like 800, and it doesn't get high pen for the standard round or the premium round. The gun sucks. The rest of the tank is fine. You have armor. This is good. You can scout. This is good. But the platform as well. The platform is on with the siege mode. It drives me absolutely insane, because the problem with this vehicle, more so than the STB, is that the STB doesn't have armor. So it doesn't necessarily need to use all the siege mode all the time, but this does. And the more siege mode that you use, the better your armor becomes. And then, for some reason, you then go up to a ridgeline and then just starts bouncing randomly on the ridgeline and just doing random stuff with the reticle. And you're like, right, okay, well, can I just go down a little bit more? It goes, yes, we'll allow you to go down, Max, in a second. We're just waiting. We're waiting for the suspension, and then it will go, you may now go down. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I hate the gun. I hate the siege mode. I hate the gun. If, objectively speaking, just to, this would probably be like an S tier tank. Or even A. A or S tier. Objectively speaking. But I don't like it. I do not like this tank. I've even tried to play it. I come back to it now and again. Okay? And I think, Max, have an open mind about it. And it just puts me back into C tier. I just don't know what to do about this. I just don't like this tank. And finally, we have the Italian tech tree. Progetto 65. B. This is actually fine now. After the buffs, this is okay. I don't think that it's any higher than this, but I don't think it's any lower than this either. If you haven't played it in a while, actually, you should go out and play it, because it is actually quite good. The bloom levels are a lot more manageable. They're basically back to where they used to be before the second buff. The second nerf, sorry. But in general, it's okay now. The Rhino. Why would you play a Rhino? I just don't know. Why would you play a Rhino? You know what, though? If this actually did have some form of redeeming quality, I actually would probably put it in S tier, because it's got so much character. But the fact is that the gun, even though it's okay, the gun, accuracy-wise, you're just forever reloading. And it doesn't matter how accurate the gun is. It beeps at you, but you're just forever aiming and reloading and everything else. It stays in D. Minotauro, B. Since it's got nerfed many years ago, whenever it was, the cupola is now pennable, which is good, and just in general, it's okay. I don't know what else to say. It just exists. This tank now just exists. It's fine. The entire tech tree is fine, actually. I think that this is quite a safe tech tree to go down because it's all the same. And you just play it as a heavy tank. You don't snipe with one of these things, by the way. Please do not snipe, okay? If you snipe with a Minotauro or any of the line, you're doing it wrong. Just play it as a heavy tank. This is assault TD, and you'll do well. It's a good tank. It's okay. Okay, there is the full list. We have done every single tech tree and also collector's vehicle at tier 10. Is some of these in the wrong order? Probably for you, yes. But is this my list? Absolutely. You can all now complain in the comments that the UDES is in the wrong tier. Enjoy.